everyone, what is going on? It is Kendeazy here, back inside the playbook with another video. And for our next topic we're covering, we are going to be looking at downgrades and upgrades for fantasy football. Every year in fantasy football, for whatever the reason, whether it be a retirement, an off-season injury, or simply a new addition to a team, it creates opportunity and players take steps forward and backwards in terms of fantasy football production. We're going to be going over downgrades in this video and upgrades in the next, but what you will see in this video are 5 players that you should expect to see fall below their fantasy point total finish from last year. These are going to be 5 players that I would be extremely cautious about drafting because of either high ADP or really bad fantasy football situations. You can also help out the channel by subscribing, which will give you direct access to notifications and all things Playbook. Without talking too much more, let's get right into the video. 5 downgrades for fantasy football 2022 you'll need to know about. Let's get it.
Okay, everyone, kicking off our video with our first downgrade, we have the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts last year finished as QB9 in PPR scoring with 10 rushing touchdowns, 16 passing touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Now, the Eagles want him to become a better real-life quarterback. They want him to develop as a passing quarterback, which ultimately might gash his fantasy numbers because so much of his work came from the ground. Last year, we mentioned he got 10 rushing touchdowns. Can he do that again? That is a high expectation, a high floor. I would say that Lamar Jackson is a better runner of the ball, and I don't think he's even projected 10 rushing touchdowns. Not only that, but the new weapon of A.J. Brown combined with Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, there are a lot of weapons, a lot of mouths to feed in Philadelphia. How much love do all of they get? That is certainly going to impact the rushing touchdowns, the rushing upside, but Jalen Hurts will have a high ADP. You will have to use a high draft pick on him because of that rushing upside, but is he worth the risk or the reward of that pick? I don't think Jalen Hurts will have the same season that he did last year. I think you can expect a lot of regression. Okay, everyone, moving along to our next downgrade, we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and since being drafted by the Chiefs 2 years ago, Clyde is probably gone in the first or second round, maybe third round of your fantasy draft. Well, no longer. He finished as running back 38 last year after missing 7 games, and then running back 22 after missing 3 games in 2020. He was missing games, and he's not making the most of his opportunities, so what did the Chiefs decide to do? They decide to bring in Ronald Jones, Rojo. Now, this is an even split in the backfield now. They're both going to be used between the tackles, catching passes, and blocking. This is going to be an even split in the backfield. Now, I don't even like this. This is not even the best split to me. I like DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, Breece Hall and Michael Carter, James Robinson and Travis Etienne over Clyde Edwards and Rojo. You know, especially with Patrick Mahomes being in a pass-first offense, and, you know, we're going to have to see what the new receiving core looks like. This Chiefs offense definitely has a lot of question marks, and the first question mark I don't think they're going to answer is the run game. Okay, moving along to our third downgrade, we have Washington Commanders running back Antonio Gibson, who finished RB12 in PPR scoring format last year. Now, last year, it was the offseason rise and hype of Gibby. Now, this year, in the offseason, it seems to be the fall of Gibby. Now, Gibby had a really bad shin bruise or injury that he played through the full season, but it really concerned us as fantasy managers, and it also concerned the Commanders because they drafted not 1, but 2 running backs on top of having J.D. McKissic still there. Last year, we would periodically see Antonio Gibson's work get stealed by J.D. McKissic, but now with these other 2 running backs on the roster that they use draft capital on, what is this backfield going to look like? Is Antonio Gibson even really healthy? How are they going to use him? How are they going to use J.D. McKissic? What does this backfield look like? Is this now a backfield by committee? I think Gibby might get nerfed completely this season. We're going to have to watch out for what this Washington Commanders backfield looks like, but I would hold your expectations on Antonio Gibson. Okay, moving along to our next downgrade. This might be the #1 consensus downgrade across all fantasy football experts. DK Metcalf last year finished at wide receiver 13 in PPR. He is not going to have remotely the same season as he did last year. This is a clear downgrade. Not only is going from Russell Wilson to Drew Lock a clear downgrade, but you could also say that DK was Russ's favorite target, and now he has to build a brand new rapport with Lock. Not to mention Noah Fant, Tyler Lockett still there, Kenneth Walker, the rookie drafted. Metcalf ran the 6th most air yards, and he was 3rd in the league with deep targets at 30. Drew Lock is not known for his downfield accuracy, so we're going to have to see a completely new route tree from DK Metcalf with also consistent quarterback play from Lock. Not to mention, again, there are other targets on the team. So DK Metcalf, please avoid him in your drafts at all costs. And for our final downgrade of Fantasy Football 2022, we have Diontae Johnson, who finished as wide receiver 8 last year in PPR scoring format. Now, he was no doubt Ben Roethlisberger's favorite target, but that was because Juju Smith-Schuster was out the full season with an injury. With a new quarterback, whether that is Kenny Pickett or Mitchell Trubisky, they're going to have to build rapport all over again. Not to mention, George Pickens goes straight in for Juju Smith-Schuster, and it is Diontae, George Pickens, and Claypool. They have 3 solid receivers they can rely on now, and you cannot forget the rise of the tight end sensation that is Pat Freiermuth. If Kenny Pickett starts, watch out for that QB tight end safety blanket. Pat Freiermuth could get extra targets, extra looks, which is going to affect Diontae Johnson. You're going to have to see how he looks in the offense with 3 receivers and a relevant tight end and a new quarterback. Hold your expectations for DJ.
So there it is. Those are 5 players that should be downgraded for Fantasy Football 2020. I don't think we're going to get much of an argument for DK Metcalf. But what about the rest of the downgrades? What about the rest of the list? Do you think those players will be downgraded or have a step back this season? Did I miss anyone? Should someone be on this list? Please let me know in the comments. As always, thank you to everyone who watched this video. If you are watching this video, that means you are currently supporting me, and I cannot thank you enough. One thing you can also do for the channel is every like, share, and subscribe helps the channel tremendously, and it will only drive the content moving forward. Alright everyone, I will be back for the next video to bring you 5 upgrades for Fantasy Football 2022. Until next time, this is the Playbook. I'm Kendeazy. Stay cool, everyone.